In November, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas at Disney World. But does that mean you'll also see those crazy Christmas crowds? That all depends on when you go. So I'm here to help you make the best plan possible, using years of crowd data and decades of personal experience to break down exactly when you should visit, the best and worst days to go to each park, and what to expect for Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, and the notorious Jersey Week. Because here's the thing, the data actually shows a reason to be optimistic for two of those crowd-shifting events. Hi, I'm James from Guide to WDW, and we're now at one of my personal favorite months to visit Disney World, November. And it's not just because I'm a bit biased, because my birthday is in November. I love the kickoff of the holiday season at Disney World. So I'm making this video to be your ultimate planning guide for November at Disney World in 2025. First, I'm going to break down all the news and closures that will have an impact on crowds in your vacation. Then, I'll give week-by-week crowd predictions, and finally, I'll share my November 2025 advice about which are the best and worst days to visit each park, so you can come up with a proper game plan to visit the parks like a pro. But let's start with a tour around the world with the news, events, and closures that will impact your vacation. Resort-wide, we have a season change at Disney World. Time to put away the pumpkins and bust out the tinsel because November brings the start of the holidays at Disney World. Technically, the holiday season doesn't officially begin until November 14th, but as soon as November 2nd, you'll start seeing Christmas and holiday decorations going up at all four parks, at Disney Springs, and the resorts. I love those gingerbread house displays, but notably there's no gingerbread house at the Grand Floridian this year because of the lobby refurbishment. At Magic Kingdom, Big Thunder Mountain, and Buzz Lightyear remain closed until 2026 for major refurbishments. Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party kicks off on November 7th this month, and during these 13 nights, party guests can see the Christmas fireworks and parade, enjoy unlimited hot cocoa and cookies, and get an extra magical dose of holiday cheer. Now, the party begins at 7 p.m. and goes until midnight, but party guests can start getting into Magic Kingdom at 4 p.m. And if you don't have a ticket, the park closes to you at 6 p.m. Because of that early closure, the holiday parties have a big impact on crowds and should be part of your planning, which I'll get into later in the video. At Epcot, Spaceship Earth just reopened in late October from a 2-month refurbishment. And this is a big month for the Rat Ride. Remy's Ratatouille adventure will be closed November 10th through 13th, and when it reopens on November 14th, it will feature enhanced digital projections and ditch the 3D glasses. More like Ratatouille 2D, am I right? Losing 3D might make Remy feel a little less dynamic in certain moments, but 2D projections should be brighter, clearer, and cause less motion sickness. Seems like a good trade-off to me, but let me know what you think in the comments. Over on the festival side of things, November is the rare month where you can experience 3 different versions of Epcot. The Food and Wine Festival continues until November 22nd, and the Eat to the Beat lineup features some big headliners like Boyz II Men, Jordan Sparks, and the Beach Boys. Then there will be a brief stint of Diet Epcot with no added festival during Thanksgiving week. But that ends on Black Friday when the Festival of the Holiday kicks off on November 28th. Meaning you can start saying God Jul with Barn Santa in Norway, see the other holiday storytellers, go on Living with the Land glimmering greenhouses, and see one of my favorite holiday traditions, the Candlelight Processional. This month's narrators are Constance Wu and Jordan Fisher. At Hollywood Studios, Disney's more grown-up holiday party, Disney Jollywood Nights, returns November 8th, running for 6 nights this month. The party lasts longer this year, running from 7:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m., and party guests can start getting into the park at 5:30 p.m. Similar to Magic Kingdom's holiday party, the park closes early for non-party guests, but not until 7 p.m. At Animal Kingdom, we have a new attraction opening that we can all enjoy together. Zootopia Better Zoogether is a new 4D show inside the Tree of Life Theater, featuring in-theater effects like new smells, all new animation sequences produced by Walt Disney Animation, and a new Clawhauser animatronic who is ready to party at the Gazelle concert. And as we say around here, everything's better with animatronics. That show opens on November 7th, along with a Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps meet and greet located near the Tree of Life. Over on the closure side, Cali River Rapids is closed for its seasonal refurbishment, and though it's not closed yet, we have a countdown to extinction. What remains of Dinoland USA will continue to operate until February 1st, 2026, meaning you should enjoy your final rides on Dinosaur or enjoy your final Restaurantosaurus cheeseburger while you still can. And unique for November planning this year, Animal Kingdom features a weekly event that will have a big impact on your Disney World plan, whether or not you can participate. That's Extended Evening Hours, the perk for deluxe resort guests that lets them stay in the park for 2 hours after official park closing. It takes place at Epcot every Monday this month from 9 to 11 p.m. And it usually also takes place at Magic Kingdom. But because of the holiday parties, Disney has shifted it to Animal Kingdom this month, taking place Wednesday, November 5th, Wednesday, November 12th, Friday, November 21st, and Wednesday, November 26th. That will run from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Animal Kingdom. Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios will not have extended evening hours this month. Extended evening hours will have a huge impact on crowds, so keep watching to find out how to strategize around it when I break down the best and worst days to visit each park. But first, let's go into my weekly crowd forecast, based on the last 6 years of crowd data from ThrillData.com, my personal experience, and what Disney is predicting with their demand-based pricing. And if you find this video helpful, get subscribed to Guide to WDW. These month-by-month guides are one of the best ways to make your Disney trip less stressful and more magical. And if you want to help me continue to make these, consider joining the new Guide to WDW Patreon. So let's jump into the crowd data. The first week of November typically has had light crowds since 2019, ranking in the top 15 for lowest wait times every year except once. And this year, this week will have the lowest ticket pricing of the month. So it should be a slam dunk for low wait times, right? Wrong. This year, the first week of November features a notorious event, Jersey Week. There's a teachers' conference in New Jersey, meaning a school holiday for families in the state. Jersey Week is a little earlier than normal this year, aligning with the first full week of November. Conventional Disney wisdom says that the entire state of New Jersey visits Disney World this week, and the data definitely shows a bump in crowds. That one year when the first week of November wasn't in the top lowest wait times, 2021, when Jersey Week landed in the first week. But there's a silver lining for 2025. Many years in the past, Jersey Week has also aligned with Veterans Day, and the combination of the two really makes crowds spike. For example, last year Veterans Day was the Monday right after Jersey Week, so there was a significant increase in guests taking advantage of the holiday combo. Thankfully, there's a day buffer this year between Jersey Week and Veterans Day, which lands on the following Tuesday. But I think crowds will be pretty high during the first week of November, especially considering the start of the holiday parties, Zootopia debuting, and Boys to Men at Epcot. All of those should cause an increase from locals and content creators. Sorry about that. Speaking of Veterans Day, that's November 11th, landing in the second week of November. Crowds are typically moderate to high on Veterans Day week, but it's usually only in the high range when it lines up with Jersey Week, which it doesn't in 2025. Looking back at last year, there was actually a significant dip in wait times from Jersey Week to Veterans Day week, most likely due to people visiting during the long weekend and leaving on or after Veterans Day. I think this year will take a similar pattern. Crowds should ease up quite a bit, so this week won't get you the lowest crowds of the month, especially on that Monday and Tuesday, but once Veterans Day passes, the rest of the week should look more like the third week in November, which is the week before Thanksgiving. This is the money week, and my pick for best week to visit. It's been consistently light over the last few years, and featured the 5th lowest wait times last year, and I have no reason to think that it won't be similar this year. There may be a small spike in crowds at Epcot on the weekend, as that's the end of the Food and Wine Festival, and some locals might try to get one last pickle milkshake. Finally, we have Thanksgiving week, which has become infamous for being so insanely crowded at Disney World. Back in the day, it was the hidden gem holiday with low crowds. But then everyone caught on, and by 2021, it was actually the busiest week of the year, beating out Christmas. This week also features the highest ticket pricing of the month this year, but I think that's more about the holiday than the crowds because there's actually some good news about this week. It's getting better. It ranked 1st and 5th for longest wait times in 2021 and 2022, but then 12th in 2023, still busy, and 19th in 2024, verging into moderate territory. It might be one of those things that word has gotten out about busy Thanksgiving crowds, and now people are starting to avoid it more. I'd be shocked if the trendline continues and this week goes to moderate to light territory, but I don't think you'll see the biggest crowds of the year during this week. I'm predicting moderate to busy through Friday, but once Saturday hits, crowds will dip down for the rest of the month, entering into one of my favorite times to visit Disney World. But that's a story for next month's video. Finally, let's break down which days to visit and which days to avoid each park in November. I'll pick the best 3 days of the week and the most crowded 3 days of the week at each park. At Epcot, avoid Mondays due to extended evening hours. That causes a huge spike in wait times year-round, as deluxe resort guests choose this park more during regular hours. If you can take advantage of the perk, by all means do so. I'd just park hop there in the evening if possible. I'd also avoid Fridays and Saturdays since there's a festival every weekend this month, especially the last weekend of Food and Wine and the first weekend of the Festival of the Holidays. If that's your only chance to visit during the Festival of the Holidays, I'd try to go on that Sunday. Also, crowds should spike for Boys to Men on November 2nd and 3rd, and Jordan Sparks on November 9th and 10th, which are Sundays and Mondays. The best days at Epcot stick to the middle of the week here, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. At Hollywood Studios, avoid Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. These have been consistently among the highest wait times in November for Hollywood Studios over the past 3 years. But there are a couple exceptions that I'll mention. The best days to visit Hollywood Studios in November are Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Wait times for November Saturdays have been improving since the debut of Jollywood Nights because of the party effect. Guests without party tickets avoid the park on party days because it closes for them early at 7 p.m. This effect is even more pronounced at Magic Kingdom, which I'll get into shortly. Jollywood Nights only takes place on 6 nights this month, but 4 of them are on Saturdays. The other 2 party dates are Mondays, November 17th and 24th, which might make those Mondays not quite as bad this month. At Animal Kingdom, Wednesday is usually a great day to visit, but not for most of the month due to extended evening hours. I'd expect heavier crowds for the park the 3 Wednesdays that takes place. So I'd avoid those 3 Wednesdays, plus that one Friday with extended evening hours, plus Saturdays and Mondays. The best days at Animal Kingdom this month are Tuesdays and Thursdays, plus Wednesday, November 19th, which doesn't have extended evening hours. At Magic Kingdom, pay attention to the party schedule because it has a big impact on crowds. As a basic rule of thumb, during regular hours, lines go up on non-party days and lines go down on party days. So the best days at Magic Kingdom, it's the party days. The trade-off is that the park closes at 6 p.m., but you can do so much with those lower crowds. My pick for the 3 best days are Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Even when Sunday doesn't have a party, because that's typically a travel day and lighter across the board at Disney World. Now for the worst days, it's notable that there's no extended evening hours this month, meaning Wednesday is not as bad as it is during the rest of the year. But it's my pick for 3rd most crowded day because it's a non-party day except once later in the month. Saturday is my pick for 2nd most crowded day, both being the weekend and a non-party day. But I'd avoid Mondays at Magic Kingdom the most this month because it had the longest wait times in November each of the last 3 years. If you have any questions about planning your Disney World vacation, drop it in the comments below. I'm cooking up a new Q&A series where I answer your hottest Disney queries. Plus, Guide to WDW patrons get priority for having their questions answered. So if you'd like to support the channel, get ad-free videos, and see your name on the patron wall at the end of every video, you can join for just $5 at the link below. I'll be back with another monthly crowd data deep dive for December, but in the meantime, I'm going to keep things ship-shape around here with a lot more great videos heading your way. Trust me, it's destined to be amazing. This has been James from Guide to WDW. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you real soon.